Okay, thank you, so everyone for the questions. It was very interesting itself. What I would suggest is that if you have more questions, please ping them across to Kunton or anybody else, and then we will answer them after the this session. So Sage Campus, so these is basically your online courses. Now, Sage Research Methods is an enabler of doing research. And then Sage Research Methods Foundation allows you the ability to be able to understand the concepts. And what you saw Ki Hyang doing is anything from how to do your research, how to design your research, how to prepare or do a project, which kind of statistical tools to use, and the methods map, which I call always the heartbeat of Sage Research Methods, and showing broader and narrower terms and contrasting terms. Here is the tools that you will need. So if you look at one of the presentations that or the demo that Ki Hyang did, he has all the software at the side. So most people, when they're learning statistics, they all know SPSS. But SPSS is now almost a thing of the past. R programming, Python programming are things of the future. And this is what Sage Campus does. So it achieves specific learning objectives by making courses easy for people to learn. So what happened? So this product came about because when COVID-19 hit all of our shores in March 2020, all of a sudden you see in-person classes were transformed to virtual classes, and librarians and faculty were struggling to be able to teach people, for example, in the lab or the teaching lab, how to use uh, any of the software, because it's easier when you are there to teach them rather than over long hours of video transmission. So what we saw was uniformly across all of the universities across the world, there's an adoption of blended and hybrid learning models. And within this model, there is an ACE framework, which we call adaptability, connection, and equity. And within that means it must be able to adapt to my existing DLE or LMS system. It must have a stable platform, easy to use, and it must be priced fairly. That's what they were looking for, yeah? And they want to make sure that the technologies that are being used or being trained, it is one of the latest or what everybody else is using. And then librarians, as we all know, and I'm sure most of you have had experiences having to train faculties the use of some of the software. There are a lot of these courses available out there, but what the research that we have done shown is people want quality. They want quality and a very diverse and specialized area. So that's where Sage Campus was developed. So the new term that you hear people talking about is micro-credentialing in practice. How do I learn small little courses at my own pace, but yet have a very structured way of learning to make sure that I can use it when I graduate, but at the same time allow me to use it when I'm learning how to do a thesis or research paper itself, or even publish a research article. Yeah. So this is all how it happened. So in March 2020 and April 2020, we did this survey, right? And librarians came back to us, and together with faculty and students, they say, I need courses that is between 4 and 30 hours. I want it to be very structured. So it teach me I need to do this, whether it's beginning, whether it is intermediate, whether it's advanced level courses. It also must allow me to learn at my own pace and with the flexibility of the time that I have. Yeah, so that was a major thing that they wanted us to produce. And they wanted everything that covers every level from an undergraduate, postgraduate to researcher. So what are the skill sets that we're looking at? These are the ones, right? So improve employability of graduates. So what we found, is that so increasingly, previously, Singaporean students, when they come out after graduating, even with an A1, they have difficulty putting into practice whatever they have learned. And then if they go into research, they are usually much better in that sense. So how do we sharpen their application of the skills and make it more practical? How we also make it flexible for the ability of the lecturer to be able to use this in a classroom setting? How we make it the possibility that my university say is in Bangkok, but because of COVID, I've gone all the way to Udon Thani or even Hat Yai. How am I able to get uh, access to the courses itself without feeling that I'm so isolated? I want what we call a social learning, right? So, and that's what they wanted as well. And then I talked about it again. Here is, these are short little courses that helps me to understand how do I deal with this amount of data. Now, Sage research methods teaches someone, firstly, you need to know one method at least, right? And you need to already know how to do stats. You need to already know how to do some level of programming. That is there. But if you do not, Sage Campus is your answer. So it provides the ability of you to learn. So how ambitious you are, you can learn faster. If you are taking your time, you also can do that. Yeah, so promote independent learning. So what are the features of this product? So since March, we launched about 30 odd courses, and we take these three groups of very key customers of ours. The librarian, right? So librarian as an institutional administrator wants a very easy dashboard, something that is very easy for me to see. What are the courses that most people are signing up for? Which students are actually doing most? What are people looking at? You want to measure usage by the course itself, and also to see, wow, what is the average rate of people using this course? Maybe some courses are not as great, but because it's visually very attractive to see, it's just at one screen, which Ki Hyang will show you in the video later on. You are able to see everything that you need as simple as possible. So faculty wants user-friendly, easy to navigate, right? So he or she can create cohorts with shared links, right? So if I'm teaching, say 5 courses, I can create 5 different cohorts, and I can assign different courses to each of my students in each of the cohort itself. And then I can start tracking. I've got 5 cohorts, I can track which student is learning faster, which have done the course, how some are slower. So instead of us in a physical classroom actually having to see this, you have now data supporting the progress of the students. How fast, what are they struggling with, yeah? And then for the learners, unlike what we feel people are happy with, the free courses that are available out there, some of them are good, some of them are not authenticated enough at a higher education level. And later on, I'll show you why Sage Campus is much more better and more important if you are looking to become one of the top students and empower your student. One of the top ranking universities, and empowering your students and faculty to be able to have a good understanding of research and able to publish them. Yeah. So the students themselves, they can assign and say, okay, let me have a group of us. Let's go and learn introduction to Python programming. And then someone will say, oh, I want to know about critical thinking. So whatever that you want, you can assign people, or you can assign yourself and say, I'm going to attend this. Yeah. So you have the freedom, autonomous. So in all of these, a key word here is progression. You can actually see the progress as it happens live. So it doesn't happen like you need to refresh. It happens as and when things are changing. So let's look at the course overview that we have. So this was deliberately designed in this fashion, right? So 35 courses that we have. In order to get your article published or your thesis prepared, you first need to understand the data. So we have 8 courses on data literacy, ranging from 2 to 10 hours. And then after you have that, and within here, within here, you find the one with big italics is critical thinking, know your numbers, are very, very popular, where people are getting to understand what is the amount of data that I have, how do I understand, how do I objectively and critique the numbers and make a good case study for my research. The second thing, after you have mastered this bit, you have research skills, and there are 9 courses in it. All courses at the moment are all 4 hours. And here again, plan your research projection, present your research, what you see in here. Very nicely formed. But obviously, if you already know your data, you can start with data science skills first. But this is on the assumption that you have no understanding of any one of these, and it takes you a very guided tour of what you need to do. And later on, you also see at each of these courses, it will tell you the level, as I mentioned earlier, plus it will give you a brief description of what the courses are all about so that you understand before you click on. And then data science skills, this is the most crucial. This is the one that what we call a make and break. So there are 9 courses ranging from 5 to 40 hours. And this is programming language that most people have you been used to or may not be used to. So like I mentioned, SPSS used to be like the thing for learning and statistics. But now you have R programming. And then you also have Python programming. All of these programming language requires one to learn. Are there free courses out there? Yes, they are. But here it is designed specifically by an expert for you to understand and use it in an intelligent way with one objective to get your research paper published. So it is a very detailed and authentic, if you like, courses that we are giving. And people who have used it attest to this. And then finally, what are we trying to achieve? We are trying to get it published, right? And when we get it published, we are focusing on getting citation, and we want to look at a higher impact factor journal. There are 9 courses in there, averaging about 2 hours. And the most important is how to write a journal article is crucial, right? But how do you promote it and how do you publish for impact? That's what is the key part. What editorial board members look for is something that is enough. Sometimes it's controversial, right? Sometimes it is something that is adding on to research that is done, say, 1960, and you're providing a latest update on things that have changed. How do you create an impact that people will remember you and say, okay, you know, so and so from say Chiang Mai University has done this. I remember Chiang Mai. I remember this professor from there. That's what you want, yeah. So what are the 5 courses? So I mentioned just now 7, but now we have about 8 or 10 coming up. So in January Q1 to March next year, we are introducing these 5 new courses. Now again, in the SAGE research methods, you saw Ki Hyang talking about doing literature review and research, right? So here is what a course of actually how to do it. Literally telling you. So it is not a duplication. It is literally telling you as if you have no idea how to do it. How do you read critically and write? So this is about data literacy. Then how do you actually do questionnaires? So in SAGE research methods, again, you find that you can tell you how to set up. But this is giving you a step-by-step way of doing questionnaires and interviews. What kind of questions should you be asking if you are doing a certain kind of a research? And then when you look at your data, you need to find themes, right? You need to find a commonality. What is all these numbers meaning of? And then it teaches you how to identify. So they're very practical. They're very reasonable for people to use. And then after that is, how do you manage the data? How do we uh, work on the basis of, how do we work on the basis of managing your data? Because the data is a lot. There are billions and billions. How do you condense it and make it very simple for you to use, so that when you produce your paper, you are able to cite the data source that you have actually used in your presentation, in your preparation, your thesis or your paper. So the key part here is we find that students of today lack a high level of critical thinking. And our most wonderful author called Tom Chatfield is one who actually pioneered the concepts of critical thinking. So he has a book on it. And here is basically he's teaching people how to think critically. And so you have a professor who is brilliant at critical thinking, teaching you how to actually do a objective and critical analysis of the data or your research. And again, in the courses you saw, I had you know your numbers. What we found was this is a slightly entry level. So we found that people still struggle with know your numbers. So we had an entry level know your numbers. So again, and see your numbers in data. Again, addressing all levels of the research, right? From undergraduate to a postgraduate to a researcher. So these two courses that is coming out in Q2 2022 is very much about you understanding at a very, very basic level. And then also making sure you have a grasp of the importance of statistics. And that's why our programming becomes so crucial. How do you make studying statistics exciting? So here you have Andy Fields, where Andy Fields will use gaming in order to teach statistics and using our programming. So turning something that is so boring, then instead of hearing, oh, statistics about this, and making it exciting and engaging, and again, the term social learning. And here we have, again, entry-level stats, medium-level stats. But the key part is, which we are all talking about every time, is an introduction to big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And these is, so when we talk about introduction, we are really talking about entry-level information to kickstart people. Yeah. And then obviously in our next courses, we'll go to medium level and then advanced level. So we talk about SAGE research methods. And so here we are going to run through with you how does SAGE Campus differ from SAGE research methods. It actually complements. They are not both the same thing. SAGE research methods, as you can see, project planner, methods map, you have content, and then it gives you the ability to cite, to share, to embed, to do a lot of things. These are courses that have a specific objective. So if I'm looking at Python programming, introduction level, beginners level, the idea is that I will learn whatever the objective that's been set by the professor at the beginning, right? So here is where you can find that there are links to open educational resources that are available quite clearly out there. Here you can add in quite a fair bit of information that you are looking for and make it much more palatable to your courses itself. Again, there are many depths and levels of courses that Kiyang will show you, and I talk about that repeatedly. But the key part that makes SAGE Campus very unique from all the free courses that is available there, or even those that are charging, is the instructors are influentials in the field. So Tom Chatfield, Andy Field, right? Cresswell. These are people who know their stuff. But at the same time, they not only teach at the faculty level, they have industrial experience to bring back the practical experience into the classroom so that the students are able to have the ability and the tools to use it once they leave the university or the classroom. Yeah. And again, one thing is very good. We may assume. So again, you saw the questions that Ki Young was showing you, discussion questions, and here is, if I want to understand actual research, and I think, oh, I read it, I sort of understand. Then you have what we call a self-test. And then you are able to think through the capabilities, and you're able to answer those and ask yourself, what is it? Do I understand this properly? And you can actually practice some of the things that you are looking for. Yeah. So overlap with SRM, only 5.2% of titles. And in terms of the video runtime, 2.6%. Now, I'm not aware of any Thai universities that have subscribed or purchased any of the SAGE research methods video on introduction to data visualization. There is a total duplication of these videos in here as well. Yeah. So if you get SAGE Campus, then you don't have to get this video at all. So let's look at what is available out there. So here again, we had the beta customers, 3 universities from the UK, and they gave us the 3 main competitors that they see to SAGE Campus. The first one is DataCamp. So here are the features that they compared with SAGE Campus and DataCamp. Interactive, practical skills. That's what you want. You want to engage your students. You want to keep them excited. You want to keep them looking for more. SAGE Campus answered that. DataCamp, no. Cross-discipline peer review content. That is SAGE Campus, not DataCamp. Bear in mind, when SAGE was established in 1965, our owner, Sarah Miller McCune, and her late husband, David Miller McCune, George Miller McCune, they both started the first qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method books. Yeah. So the little green books and the little blue books. Yeah. First qualitative and quantitative. So we are the experts when it comes to research methods or big data across behavioral and social sciences. So obviously, we have a lot of resources and a lot of connection. So customers found SAGE Campus was easy to use. It creates much more robust activity and excitement, unlike DataCamp. So Linda is the other one. So we have world-leading data science. So we have who? We have our MIT, we have University of California, Berkeley, we have Sussex University. We have some other universities, even in Australia, sometimes like ANU, Australian National University, coming across. This is what we have. So world leaders in there. So what is crucial for us is that we have experts talking about things in the area that matters to us. Are we looking for courses that will be taught by any Thai professors? The answer is definitely yes. But again, we go through a peer review process. Again, we have to see whether this is relevant. Do we already have somebody talking about it? Yeah. So how do you brand your institution is actually submitting content. So Linda doesn't compare with us. Again, we talk about respective brand research methods and data science. We are. Customers have mixed review when it comes to Linda, positive review when it comes to SAGE Campus. The last one here is Future Learn. Again, both of us provide interactive practical skills, but most find using Future Learn very difficult, very complicated, unlike SAGE Campus, which is very, very easy to be able to use. So in the statistics part, so the question that has been asked by Anonymous is how to use statistical software will be taught. Yes, we teach the most common. So there are a lot of stat software available out there. We teach you the most common from basic, intermediate to advanced. So R programming and Python programming are the main one. In SAGE research methods, you have a brief course on SPSS, right? So you are able to learn from this. So we go on the 3 main things that people are using. And again, there are plenty that. So we are very, very focused, very, very specialized. What is the world looking at? This is what you want. You want to ensure that your faculty and your students are learning those stats software that is aligned globally, so that when he or she decided to say do an exchange program to say a university in Sweden, then they have the tools rather than having to relearn everything new. Yeah. Again, our respective brand we have are easy to use. We talked about it. So let's go for this one. Yeah. So this is very crucial for us to know where Sage Campus is positioned vis-a-vis what is available out there. So Coursera for campus is mass market, and yes, it's for higher education. So it is very broad. It doesn't have a specific focus like what we are having, because our goal is to take you nicely from data literacy, research skills, data science skills, all the way to publishing the journal article. That's what we are all about. Coursera, on the other hand, which started first together with edX, they are both mass market and they are both for professionals and careers. So for example, if I want to learn something on my own, I can go to them rather than being very specific. Sage Campus is specialized, is very specialized, but yet diverse because interdisciplinary and is focused only on the higher education market. So LinkedIn Learning, again, like edX and Coursera, it is about that. So this sets Sage Campus far and apart from all that is available out there. We have had universities who come and say, oh yeah, I've got Coursera. But the question is, are you looking to have content that will really help your students to be where they want to be, or your faculty to be where they want to be, with specialized courses and focusing only on the higher ed by the world leading research methods publisher? Or are you quite happy to have a very broad range where the people learn bits and pieces of it and not quite have the oomph for the know-how? Yes, we give certificates, so some of these also give, but our certificates are worth much more. Imagine getting something from a brand name or even a Tom Chetfield. That means a lot than getting from someone who may not be a known person. Yeah. So I think that's what is important to realize. So again, the new concept that we have, partner success, we can do onboarding, we can drive activities. How do we ensure that if you want to renew, what we can help you to proposition to your senior management about the value of Sage Campus, and then we can do cross promotion between Sage journals or Sage research methods and Sage Campus if you want to. So this is what we can do for you. So let's look at the reviews that's given by the 3 beta customers. So this product has just been launched in Asia Pacific in this year, and we already have 1 customer in Thailand. Yeah. So and then we have another customer, 2 customers, 1 customer in Hong Kong, 1 in Japan, and 1 in Australia. Yeah. So we are starting to see interest, and then we have a couple in Indonesia coming through. So here are some of what these people have said, right? So it's not us saying. So University of Nottingham says it's a must-have for anyone who works with data. Very well organized and a must-have for students. Cleveland State University in America. And then in Canada, thorough, structured, and well-planned. So you can see these are feedback from librarians, faculty, students. Very well presented without overwhelming students. This is key. University of Mannheim, because it is produced by professors who teach in the class with practical experience. And the fact that we have a very structured course with independent and flexible learning, that actually makes a lot of difference to all the other courses that is available out there. Then obviously, if you want a case study of how one university uses Sage Campus, University of Trent in the UK case study is also available. Yeah. So this is the video that Ki Hyang will show you later on. So what kind of business models that we have? We have 2 types. And again, you see, access is unlimited and alumni access is included. Whether you choose to purchase the 35 courses this year or the 7 plus 5 that's or 5 plus 5 that's coming out later. That is what you need to look for. So again, depending on your budget, you can have a leasing option, a subscription. If you sign for 3 years, then every time we digitize a new course, it gets automatically added. But if you choose to use your one-time budget, you can. So if you have money saved towards the end of this year and you want to purchase, you just purchase the 35 courses and then you own that. Yeah, and then after that you can actually integrate it into your LMS system, and then you start adding the OERs as you sort of deem fit itself. Yeah. So what's the summary and the key takeaways? It's a very niche e-learning platform. There is none other than Sage Campus out there. So the people, yeah, they are Coursera and stuff like that, but it's a publisher with brand names, researchers producing courses that will help you to ultimately write a thesis and publish your research paper, right? So what is also important, it has to be practical, it has to be interactive, it must be exciting. The term social learning with micro-credentialing, right? That is what you want. You want to have all of these kind of ability to learn short courses. Peer review, trusted content, again, we talk about it. Unfortunately, the courses have all to be subscribed or purchased. We don't have an evidence-based or pick and choose model. It's again easy to navigate and easy to dashboards that able to you to see visually quite fantastically the outcome of what your students is doing. So with that, I think I pass it on to Ki Hyang, and then we can take questions from there. Yeah.
Okay. I will do a very short demo to show all of you about how this platform look like. So I'm going to take over the screen from Rosalia. Yeah, this is the screen that you will be able to see it here. Okay, on how we, okay, somewhat sorry, my screen is being blocked. Okay, so this is actually the Sage Campus website. So I'm going to sign in now to give you a feel about how this platform look like. Am I soft? Is it still very soft, Rosalia?
You're okay now.
Okay. Okay, so just now we mentioned about, okay, the various courses that is available, right? Okay, just to give you, okay, an overview. Okay, we have courses that cover in all these areas. One of the questions in the question and answer that you will be able to see is that, okay, is there any statistical courses? So far, okay, the statistical courses that have been focusing is actually on Python and R programming, right? The rest is more focusing on the, I would say, the research skills, okay, the data literacy, as well as some of them on how to get published. These are the generic courses, okay, that's heavily in demand, okay, across, okay, most of the market at this moment. Yeah. Okay, so when we go back to the to the dashboard, okay, all the courses, right? Okay, if I open them up, okay, there are 27 of them. Let me show you more. All right, let me just show you all. Okay, yep. Okay, so these are all the courses that you can see. Okay, so I will just go through slowly. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, for example, these courses are such as those that is on the peer review, submission of touch, okay, and the final touches, how to write a journal article. There's a part 1, there's a part 2. How do we actually promote the article acceptance rate? You can see that these are all the courses along how to get published, and they range across from 1 hour to 2 hours time, right? And the course synopsis has been clearly shown here. Now, if we continue to move down, you'll be able to see some of the research skills, such as the proposal, research writing. How do we plan our project? How do we see the numbers of data? To see the numbers and data, more leans towards the data visualization. All right, and this choose a journal will be actually on how to get published. All right, so if we continue to move down further, here are some statistical significance. Just now we have a questions asking about some kind of like understanding, how do we do the statistical significance, how do we do it, right? And how do we actually look into research design in social science data? This one is actually something that's related to I would say the R programming. So introductions to R, and then data visualization, Python. That is the introductions, and we also have the Python for the intermediate. Now you can see that it's 24 hours for both the introduction and the intermediate, and the synopsis is all here. Now, any learners, all right, for example, today I'm a learner, I'll be able to easily just view into the course detail, for example, all right, and I will be able to enroll myself, right, enroll myself into any particular course. But most of the time before we enroll ourselves, because this is a structured online learning course, okay, it's a full course, but it's structured, okay, so it really helps our user to have a clear understanding on what is your learning outcome. So for example, here you'll be very clearly to identify there are 3 learning outcomes here. Okay, be it recap on the, for example, what are the functions such as the scripts, reading files on the web using the Python, or maybe you would like to do the data extraction. I know this is already at second level because we are talking about intermediate. If today you are looking into, let's say, the introduction, then it will be much simpler, okay, on the entry level for learning Python, okay, as well as the web and the APIs, okay, on the social science example. Here are the author. We'll give you a brief introduction if you would like to see the bio, and there's the course description. Now, in each and every of the courses, they will be subdivided into different modules. For this case, you have an overview about the module 1, and then they will go to talk about the module 2. How do we manipulate the data? How do we extract the data? And module 4, practical application. That is the beauty of this particular course, okay, where it covers, okay, planning the research task and 3 data analysis challenges. Yeah, and then at the end of the course, the user will get the certificate of completion, and then they can even provide feedback, okay, about what they think the course can be improved, or maybe what are the good areas that they really like about the course, and give us feedback. Yeah. Now, if I go back, okay, I have 2 roles here. You can see it here. Okay, I can turn myself as a learner, or I can turn myself as a course assigner. Now, if today you are a professor and you would like to assign this course to, let's say, to your cohort, to your class of students, what you can do is that it's very simple. You can create a new cohort. So for example, today you are in a statistical, okay, teaching the R programming. Now I can just taking this as, okay, maybe it's like, okay, you have a course which is called, let's say, the Bachelor of Arts, for example, okay, 431, for example, all right, Bachelor of 431, and then say R programming, right, for example. Okay, so that is actually for your students to identify this course. And in the course, I would like to assign, maybe I would say to say the introductions to R, all right, introductions to R, and also there will be a practical data management with R. That is the intermediate course. I would like to assign this course to my students. So what I can do is I just select the 2 courses, and then I just click create. Simple as that. So once I already created this course, right, I will be able to enroll my learners. And to enroll the learners are very simple. That will just provide you a link, and what you need to do is that you just copy this link and then share it out, okay, with all the students in the class. So for example, if today I would like to share with Shirley or maybe Kunton, then I just copy the link and then I send it over, and then the students will be invited to register themselves, okay, to enter into this course, and straight away they'll be able to start to do the course. Yeah. So once the students are being enrolled, you'll be able to see that we have many courses here, okay, that is already made available, including just now the courses that I've just created, right? Which is here. Okay, so obviously I did not enroll into any students now, so there's a 0 progress in terms of the taskbar. So for example, just now, I would like to do, okay, this particular business one. Okay, for example, I just view the cohort report. So you can see that there are 2 courses here, one of which, okay, has already progressed up to 6%, right? I can go into the course, okay, and from here, I will know that, oh, okay, because I haven't assigned it out yet. So if there's any other students here, you will be able to see that all the students' name will be appear here as in their progress. What is the courses? Yeah, it's simple as that. Okay, I'm going to show you one of the course, and then we'll wrap up the demo. So for example, okay, remember just now we mentioned about how to write journal article. For example, I'm going to view the course detail. Okay, I already enrolled into this course. Again, the course comes with the learning outcomes, straightforward, and it comes with the pre-assessment quizzes. This will help the students to kind of like prepare themselves, okay, about how they understand about this topic, or maybe there are pockets of information which they miss out and they would like to learn more. After taking out the quiz, they will be able to start going and deep dive into all these different modules. So for example, I would like to share this as a learner. I would like to use this as a learner to start this course, how to write a journal article part 2. Okay, yes, where it's left off. Okay, I can say yes, I will be able to, you know, continue from where I left off. Okay, so I can start all over again, or I can continue from where I left off. Right, so you can see that. Okay, so in this particular course, right, basically they will be able to say that. Okay, they will give you a very important, okay, concise, okay, summary of everything that you need to know. So instead of reading a book, right, whereby there's so much reading where, you know, most of the time our learners got, you know, off focus, this is just give you the very targeted information so that we will be able to focus, understand exactly what we need, and then before we move on. Now, the whole learning process is actually kind of like quite interactive, right? You will not be able to kind of like consider finishing the course if you don't actually interact with the program. Meaning to say, if I don't even open the add start button, okay, I will not be considered as a check sign. So you can see that from a pass button, only until when you open up and read it, then they will consider a check sign. Right, so I finished reading it, then it's considered view. I need to go to the another protocol, then it's considered view, and then they will ask you, say, point to remember. Here are the highlight. Now, after you have done something, then they will say, now let's have a small little quiz, okay, to test out our understanding, whether we understand it correctly or we don't understand it. So, for example, I just simply choose, okay, and then I say, okay, this is my answer. Then they say, oh, I'm sorry, it did not understand correct. So I'll be able to try it again. All right. So I will be able to show some feedback about whether I get it right or I get it wrong. Yeah. So this is how you actually interact. After you finish the interactions, okay, you can move on to the next, or maybe you can move back to the previous schedule. Right. So this is how you'll be able to see that how we actually interact, okay, effectively during the course. It gives the students, right, not only just a reading materials, it also comes with others materials such as the video, and then there are a lot of, I'll say, interactive, where you need to actually turn over the snippets of windows to actually see the information. Okay, click on the plus sign to see the information. So this actually makes the learning process more engaging rather than one way of, you know, learning, pushing you information, which become very boring. Yeah. Okay. So in the interest of time, okay, so I probably will stop here. Just one last thing that I'd like to highlight is that anything that you see as a assign, it means that this is a course that's being assigned to the user. Okay, that means assigned to me, okay, as a learner. Anything that you don't see this assigns, okay, it means that I'm the one who self-enroll myself, okay, into this particular course. Yeah. Any particular questions that you would like to find out? There's a chat.
No, there's no questions in the chat room.
Okay.
No Q&A. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you all for attending. We appreciate the questions. We appreciate your time. Please do keep the questions coming if you have any after the sessions. Shirley, can you send the generic PowerPoint on Sage Campus across to all the participants? Yeah, at least they have the ability to look.
Yes.
Yeah, feel free to ask us any more questions you have, and then we'll be more than happy to answer. If there's nothing else, so we thank you so much, and then ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับ มีคำถามอะไรไหมครับ
Yeah, I will put my email here. If any question, can email us or send to Kunton.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for all the time.
ขอบพระคุณครับ
Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับทุกอาจารย์ทุกคนสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับขอบคุณครับขอบคุณลุงเฉลียวคุณเจอรี่ขอบคุณเทียขอบคุณครับ
Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับสวัสดี
Thank
ค
you,
รับ
Rosalia. Thank you, Key.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.
บ๊ายบาย
Thank you. Bye.
บ๊ายบาย